Thanks for listening. This is part 2 of Debt, Money Part 4, episode 31. So we just talked about avoiding all debt if possible, Romans 13:8. Owe no man anything. So now let's talk about what that means practically. Once we're in debt, if we've already made a mistake or circumstances were not in our favor and we can't pay things back, how do we get out of debt? Well, there's a couple steps to that, but number one, you've got to learn how to budget, all right? And then, of course, prayer and seeking wise counsel. I'll get to those in a moment. But this is the practical part of it, all right? Learn how to budget. That means how much money do you bring in each paycheck? That means net, how much you take home that you can spend, versus how much do you have to have each paycheck to pay your necessities? How much do you need to live and how much are you bringing in, right? So this means that you should probably cancel any monthly things that are not needed to survive, any monthly subscriptions, Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, cell phone monthly add-ons, sports channels, any monthly TV service. If you're paying for cable and you're in debt, your priorities are wrong. You need to cancel that entertainment stuff. Any monthly or weekly subscription that you pay that is not needed for you to eat, drink, or earn your money. Now, my wife and I use internet for our jobs from home. So I pay for a 1 gigabyte high-speed internet. I shop around. We pay $65 a month. I called my provider, told them I was shopping around, and asked if they had any discounts, maybe for military veterans, etc. And they said, well, no, but I can give you a promo of $10 off each month for a year. So thank God for that. I'm paying $55 a month for high-speed internet, which is really great for us. But you've got to shop around sometimes. Now, we don't pay a monthly fee for purchasing our phones on a payment plan. We got the cheapest smartphones offered to new customers for just $50. So if you're paying a monthly fee just to lease your smartphone until it's paid off, you really should consider not doing that, okay? We only pay $15 a month for each phone. 3 phones in the house for my teenager, Mint Mobile, $45 a month is what we're paying. So you need to trim out the things that you're paying too much money for. Average your monthly costs for your needs, like your electricity, your gas, your water, your sewage and trash. For instance, if you average about $200 a month for electricity and you're paid every 2 weeks, then you got to figure out there's 4 weeks in a month. So that means my $200 monthly, I need $100 per paycheck, and you set that aside to pay your electric bill. Do the same with your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, whatever. Track and write down how much you spend on gas for your car. Don't buy snacks or food at the gas station. That's usually 2 or 3 times the cost than what you would pay at the grocery store. Keep receipts for 1 month of all your grocery store spending. Stop getting fast food, stop eating out at restaurants, and then add up all your monthly payments on other debt like your personal loans, your credit cards, etc. Now, if you get into medical bills, that's a whole nother thing. Each state is different. Texas Health and Safety Code, Chapter 185, requires healthcare providers to provide specific information to patients before their medical debt is allowed to be sent to a collection agency. So you have recourse through the state code on being able to take care of your debt before it's sent to collections, which can ruin your credit, right? So what I did when I had surgery once, I personally wrote a letter and sent it with a $10 payment to each of my medical bills, like the radiologist, the doctor's office, the hospital, etc. And I asked them, I detailed why I was struggling to pay and asked for part of the debt to be forgiven. Most places have a charity budget. I got 75% of my bill just taken off due to charity. So you have some options. You got to think about those things. And then on all of your bills, if you can't afford anything else, at least pay the minimum payment before the due date, or you'll get over limit fees, late fees, and your balance will increase instead of decreasing. So your whole goal with debt is to decrease what you owe every month. So one simple way that I used to do that was attempt to pay the minimum payment times 2, plus any interest or fees that they charged you. So for instance, if your minimum payment on a credit card bill is $25 and they bill you $10 interest, pay the $25 twice, so pay $50 plus the $10 interest. Pay $60 that month, plus any other fees if you got charged fees. Get that balance to go down as quick as you can and have a plan. If you have monthly payments on rentals, furniture, the different TV stores and stuff, return it. Cancel your plan. Don't be making monthly payments on things that are not a requirement for your survival. If you are deeply in debt, you're living paycheck to paycheck, your first goal should be to get out of debt, not to live luxuriously. All right, once you've done all that stuff, then you need to do the math. You actually need pencil and paper, okay? Sit down and add these things up. If what you bring home is more than what is needed to survive, congratulations. Now you can afford to begin paying off your debt. So, as I explained, pay more than the minimum. Whatever extra money you have at the end of the month, put on the debt that is charging you the highest interest rate. Then after you've made 3 on-time payments, call each one of your debtors 3 months later and ask for lower interest rates. Ask if they can help you. Most of the time, they will be able to help you. Or nowadays, maybe only half the time. But still, lower interest rate on half of your bills is a good deal, right? Now, number 2, if what you bring home is less than what you need, well, then you've got an issue. You need to immediately go out and get another job. I don't care if it's minimum wage or not. I've done it. I've worked Circle K before when I'm 35 years old, okay? Focus on your work ethic and asking your employer for more money once you've proven yourself on the job. Ask to learn new positions. Ask about higher paying positions. Make yourself an asset to your employer wherever you work. Show that you are someone who is willing to work, willing to learn, willing to teach others, and you work harder than the other employees. Always be busy and looking for things to do, asking the manager for something to do if you're bored. Don't stand around on the clock doing nothing. And always be looking for a better paying job. I did that. I don't think I worked anywhere for more than 3 months before I got a pay raise, because I'd find another job and I would ask for a pay raise. If they didn't give me one, I quit and got a higher pay somewhere else. Search for better jobs. Train yourself. Make yourself an asset. And keep one constant job if at all possible, so you maintain that continuity on your resume that, hey, I've been working here for 4 years, and then, hey, I've also got a second job on the side. I've been doing this, this, and this. So that's just the basics on how to get out of debt, all right? I know I went through it fast. Go back and re-listen to this if you're in debt and you need some help. But the first thing you should always do is pray, of course. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. So understand that you may not have an Elijah in your life that's going to come and do a miracle and pay off all your debts for you. Okay? God can still do that, absolutely. But not every person in Israel that was in debt had that happen to them. There's only one story in the Old Testament about that. That's that one woman. All right? It's not going to happen to everybody. You can pray for it and ask for it, absolutely. But you need to do something. Use the brain that God gave you. Use the talents that God gave you. Use your health, your 2 arms and 2 legs, to go out and get a second job to earn money to be able to get out of debt. And of course, don't forget the principle of seeking wise counsel. Again, I don't know your situation. I can't educate myself on you and help you with your finances. I'm just giving you some basic principles on how to deal with credit card debt, medical bills, etc. So Proverbs 15:22 says, without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. Seek someone older and wiser than you, a family member, someone in the church, a neighbor maybe, who is willing to listen to you and offer some advice. And don't just seek advice from one person. It says in the multitude of counselors. All right, now we'll talk real quick about different types of debt, because what we need to understand in personal debt, there are liabilities versus assets. All right, a liability is something that actually consumes your money, takes up It does not contribute to your wealth. An asset is something that does contribute to your wealth. So a bad debt would be the liabilities: credit card debt, unsecured personal loans, rent-a-center monthly payments, cell phones. You buy the newest cell phone and you're paying $50 or $150 a month to have that cell phone. That's ridiculous. Don't do that if you're in debt. If you don't have the money, don't rent it, okay? Now, good debt, as some people term it, would be those things that are assets, like a house. That's building equity. A house versus an apartment, yes, it takes more money to maintain and more time. So depending on your stage in life, you might need an apartment. But a house can actually be an asset to you because it's building up that equity, and it's something that will make you money in the future. It could be an investment. Also, keep in mind that's a long-term versus short-term. And please, there should never be a reason to get a variable rate mortgage and have a balloon payment at the end. You don't know the future, and you could lose your house and your investment if you do that. Get a fixed term mortgage. All right. All right. So that's enough about that. So there's your good and bad debt. And then we have business debt. That's a whole nother animal. I'm not going to get into that. Get a financial advisor, but you need to understand you got to have a business plan. You've got LLCs, sole proprietorships, and S corps. Most small businesses are one of those. Each has tax implications and separate liability for debts. Understand that the borrower is still servant to the lender. So make your business the servant, not your family. And here's one more that the Bible talks about is contracts, signing for the debts of others. Be careful. It's called surety, giving security or being security for a debt. All right, a bondsman. Proverbs 6:1, my son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger. In other words, shaking hands with a stranger on a business deal to know where you now owe them. You're in debt to them. Thou art snared with the words of thy mouth. Thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself. All the way through verse 11, it talks about how you should not be slothful. You should work hard, get out of debt, and plan for the future. Then Proverbs 22:26, be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Basically, Proverbs is saying you're going to end up being poor if you keep becoming surety for other people. Right? It's bad enough when you get in debt for yourself. What that applies to here in the modern age is co-signing a loan. It's a very dangerous thing to do. So in summary, guys, number one, the Bible cautions against debt and says to repay your debts. So make it your goal to get out of debt. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Romans 13:8, owe no man anything. So get out of debt. Don't care how you do it, if you pay off the highest interest rate first, or if you use the debt snowball or whatever, but use prayer and financial advice from wise counsel. Understand the difference between an asset that will help you, like maybe going into debt with a car so that you can get to work so that you can make money. That might be a good one. Versus a liability like a personal loan that's unsecured with a high interest rate or credit card debt. It just drains your money every month. So I hope this stuff helps. And if you have a specific Bible verse regarding money or debt that you have a question about, email me at angrypatriot42@yahoo.com. And until next time, may God bless you all.